We're at the next web conference in Amsterdam 2012. We're here with Jonathan MacDonald. You're going to speak in about a few minutes. What are you going to speak about?
I'm going to speak about the future of digital life and where society will move to when it's enabled to be interactive all the time.
What is the future of digital life?
Well, you can find out in 10 minutes. I can tell you now. I can whisper it in your ear if you like. But I think, generally, I think the future of digital life, the ultimate future of digital life is analog life. I think ultimately, after all of the hyper, super virtual reality has kind of played itself out, I reckon, what we'll start valuing? Human-to-human interaction.
The future of digital life is old school?
Yeah, I reckon that we're going to have public urban boundary systems, or pubs for short, where you can actually go and meet real people, and there'll be streets that you can walk down and say hi, and we can call them high streets. So we'll actually have a toll, like a premium, to actually walk down and physically touch someone and say hello. I think that's where we're going.
Like, it's the only way of creating engagement?
Well, it is engagement if you think about it. Everything that we've put in place now to actually kind of make engagement digital is essentially, in one way of looking at it, an ultimate barrier. It's anything that stops humans speaking to each other seems to be the fascination right now. So
the thing people are talking about for years, like social media and the mobile revolution, etc., it's nothing?
It's evidently not nothing. I mean, these are multi-billion-pound valuations of companies. I think it's fascinating how engineers and money managers can make an industry seem extraordinarily sexy, which is, on one hand, of looking at it, an absolute abuse of people's privacy. You could argue that there's going to be mass class action moving forward, where actually the citizens take to the streets and claim back their rights to what identity really means and the value in their own privacy. So it's certainly not nothing, but I don't think it's everything.
So there is no social media revolution? I
don't even believe in the term social media. It seems to be an opportunistic placement of the word media onto society. So almost as if society has given some kind of grant to advertising to enable its eyeballs to be monetized. I'm not quite sure how that will play in the long term.
So you don't believe in terms like social businesses and the differences in new identities of companies and corporations?
Well, businesses aren't people. Society and socialism needs people to be involved. So once you remove the word human, nothing can be social. But I mean, at the end of the day, all media is social. All technology is mobilized. All media is digital. So I mean, at the end of the day, what we end up with is engagement between people, and the way that companies have to somehow harmonize with the way that humans want to be spoken with rather than at.
So you're not on Facebook. So you're not on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter a lot. I use it as a promotional vehicle so I can get more clients and speak more. And I'm on Facebook to keep in touch with my family.
So there is a digital revolution?
Well, I don't think the things that I've just said are revolutionary. I think my mum on Facebook doesn't think that I'm particularly revolutionary. She doesn't even understand what I do. But I think I like using modern tools. I'm a bit of a geek. So I like using stuff, but I treat it as stuff and machines and screens and bits of plastic. I don't think that this is necessarily the saving grace that will stop all wars. Although actually, if it was used correctly, it could.
Well, I find this kind of shocking. But so you say there's no change to more digital contact with customers and people in general than the former contact in real life?
What I'm saying, as I said in my TED talk, which was called If Mandela Had Tweeted, I don't think it's about the technology, it's about what's in your heart, If you haven't actually got a mission and something that people believe in, and you don't have a purpose, then there's no technology that can solve that. And if you look, Che Guevara didn't have mobile, Einstein didn't have Google, Da Vinci didn't have Photoshop, and Mandela didn't have Twitter. At the end of the day, it's in here. The tools are just the tools. They accelerate conversation, but the tools aren't it. I mean, the tools aren't the revolution. People make revolutions, not technologies.
How do you explain they say the social revolution that took part in the Middle East, etc.?
Well, here's where technology actually accelerates those activities. But
just an acceleration, then?
It's an acceleration and an awareness platform usage. But actually, if you remove the technology from all of these things that happen in any countries, what you end up with people with passion. And actually anything that can accelerate people's passion's great. So I'm not an anti-technologist, but what I think, however, I am is a humanist, and I would concentrate on people's passion and belief rather than the technologies that they use.
But doesn't mobile marketing, the mobile techniques, the iPhones, the iPads, etc., doesn't it change the world as we know it?
No, the technologies don't change the world. People change the world.
But the fact that they can do things using a mobile everywhere we are, etc., they will change the world.
It's a technological fascination point, right? It's an intellectual curiosity. It's a circle jerk of engineers.
The ability to track people by using a mobile.
It scares the hell out of me.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same as 3 years ago. You asked me, what about this whole ability to track people all over the place? And it's like, isn't this fascinating? What does this mean? And what it means is an absolute fundamental abuse of citizen identity. How's that?
Mobile commerce, like tracking my friends, what they say about the products I would like to buy, etc., when I'm in the shop.
You've got to think of why the tracking actually should be used or is in place. If people give the permission to be tracked so that their services can be more tailored at their demand, that's fabulous. What I'm concerned about is, however, any usage of tracking technologies that aren't necessarily under the control of the citizen, which means basically the citizen to some extent is being disintermediated from what should be a fundamental human right.
Okay, so final question, and is there any revolution where digital may take part in?
For surely we can find one revolution. I will Google it. Okay, is there? You know what? I think citizens are increasingly empowered. And I think that actually there will be a revolution, and I think it will be mobilised. I think we've got weapons of mass communication, and I think that I think people may well, in many cases, take to the streets. And I'm not trying to be an artificial maverick, but I think we have not even scratched the surface of what will happen when people are truly able to be empowered and collaborative.
Okay, final question.
Oh, really?
Do companies like Sony and Philips and etc. Do they survive? In your opinion?
Ooh. It depends on what they stand for. So if they actually stand for something and they have a purpose which isn't make more technology, then they'll survive. If, however, what they stand for is releasing the next greatest, thinnest screen, I would place a huge amount of money on them not surviving. But I can't speak about either of those companies' corporate strategy. What I hope their corporate strategies are to do with holistic purpose for societal betterment. Things that make societies better and healthier, kids not dying and old people being healthier, and enabling mothers who need medical help to be connected to medical help, and enabling education to happen in places where education doesn't exist. Those are the kind of things that companies should be thinking about, not whether or not we can release a keyboard that folds into 5 pieces.
Why should companies, final question, why should companies hire you as a speaker?
Well, because I'm not talking the same crap as everyone else. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I guess I'm like Marmite. I have a view, and my view is focused on the citizen perspective, and I'm probably out of place in many contexts because I should be talking about applications, I guess.
Thank you, Jonathan MacDonald. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.